Looking back, this should have told us what we were in for.
We need a leader that wrote The Art of the Deal.
No one had ever entered a presidential race quite the way Donald Trump did in June 2015. You couldn't look away.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Trump, the billionaire-turned-reality TV show celebrity,
You're fired.
was just about the last person Hillary Clinton expected to be going to the wire against.
I mean, really, can we just stop for a minute and reflect on the absurdity of Donald Trump finding fault with Miss Universe?
In what has become a campaign so ugly.
I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
You can't polish this turd.
Americans just want it to be over.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic
So, with the end in sight, maybe,
if I win.
what better time to step back and consider what exactly it is we've been witnessing for the last year and a half.
I will be the youngest woman president in the history of the United States.
This country is in turmoil. It's a battle between outsiders and insiders, between elites and the people in the heartland.
Douglas Brinkley is a noted presidential historian.
There's a kind of pitchfork mob anger going on out there.
Like the Battle of the Titans,
I will fight harder for you
Donald Trump
than anyone ever has fought before.
I will do everything.
and Hillary Clinton
Incomes rising for hardworking people.
have gone at each other across an ideological chasm.
I want to build the wall. We need the wall.
I don't want to rip families apart.
We have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
I don't want to see the deportation force that Donald has talked about in action.
Muslims have to report the problems when they see them.
It's also very short-sighted and even dangerous to be engaging in the kind of demagogic rhetoric that Donald has about Muslims.
When you look at issues versus personalities, ultimately, what's this election about?
2016's about which is the worst of two evils. The lack of enthusiasm for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump is profound.
Polls show that Trump and Clinton are the most unpopular presidential candidates in polling history. In a campaign about negatives, Clinton versus Trump comes down to trust versus temperament.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted.
Nobody really knows what all these emails add up to in the end, except whenever it's raised, Hillary Clinton gets deeply defensive, and it gave a taint on her that she is a candidate that is running with the FBI in pursuit of her. People hate Donald Trump because he's prejudiced. He says bigoted remarks. He often speaks from a bully pulpit of ignorance. He degrades women.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody.
We called her Miss Piggy, called her Miss Housekeeping because she's a beautiful Latina.
How many times have you heard there's never been a campaign like this one? Well,
when you have an unprecedented situation where you have one candidate, Donald Trump, claiming that the other candidate should be in jail, that's actually one part of this current election that we haven't seen before.
Joseph Cummins has written a history of dirty tricks and cheap shots in U.S. elections.
A dirty election runs in our blood. This is part of being an American. I'd like to say about this election that it's really a 19th century election that's occurring in the 21st century.
Consider the election of 1800, when Thomas Jefferson ran against John Adams.
Thomas Jefferson hired a scurrilous Scottish writer named James Callender to accuse John Adams of being a hideous hermaphrodite, which has neither the force and firmness of a man nor the gentleness and sensitivity of a woman. John Adams and his people, for their part, were already spreading rumors that Thomas Jefferson was sleeping with slaves in Monticello, which in fact he was. They also used one of my favorite all-time slurs in American election campaigns by simply saying, well, you can't vote for Thomas Jefferson because he's dead. And how can you vote for a dead man?
I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged. I have to be honest.
As for Donald Trump's claim that the election is rigged before it actually happens,
That's something that we haven't seen before in American elections.
There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against
Should have gotten it.
I would say that the only truly stolen, rigged election in American history was 1876, which is the dirty election of all time, where you had Rutherford B. Hayes running, the Republican, running against Samuel Tilden, the Democrat.
Tilden was ahead. This was the post-Civil War Reconstruction period. The Republicans controlled the South. So what did they do?
They basically telegraphed the people who counted the electoral votes in Florida and Louisiana and South Carolina, and they said, change those votes. Make those Republican votes and not Democratic votes.
So someone
Literally, yes.
messed with the votes.
They messed with the votes. This was the one election in American history that can be proven that was stolen.
And so, Republican Rutherford B. Hayes became our 19th president.
When you talk to pollsters, people claim, oh, I hate dirty elections, it's terrible. Well, as a matter of fact, they do like dirty elections, and they pay attention to dirty elections.
Proof? The first Clinton-Trump debate was the most watched in TV history, with 84 million viewers.
Donald supported the invasion of Iraq.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
But Donald Trump never misses a chance to launch a full-throated attack on the media.
They're not reporting it, Katie. You're not reporting it, Katie.
NBC correspondent Katie Tur has been a frequent punching bag, even requiring Secret Service protection. Has Trump actually been treated unfairly?
The media is simply an extension of Hillary Clinton's campaign.
The most distinctive thing about Trump's coverage is how much there is of it.
George Mason University professor Robert Lichter. His studies of media bias are often cited by conservatives.
Trump is outrageous. He's unpredictable.
Stay on point, Donald. Stay on point.
All the definitions of what makes someone newsworthy.
No sidetracks, Donald. Nice and easy. Nice.
Analysis of nearly 20,000 articles on the websites of major media outlets shows stories about Trump vastly outnumbering stories about Clinton. A Harvard University survey found that both candidates are getting mostly bad press. But Trump's is more negative, which Trump actually turns to his advantage.
Donald Trump isn't just complaining about media bias because he believes it's happening. He's complaining about it because it revs up his troops.
Has Donald Trump done a better job of using the media than Hillary Clinton in this campaign?
Donald Trump has clearly managed to use the media better than Hillary Clinton.
Except
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
the Access Hollywood bus video didn't roll right off Donald Trump.
Terrific.
Neither did this.
Such a nasty woman.
For outraged voters, these were defining moments in his race against Hillary Clinton.
Nasty women vote.
Among Clinton supporters, it seems sexism is the elephant in the room,
I've been called a lot of things.
the constant in the decades of attacks against someone who in 2 days could be elected the first woman president of the United States.
We are going to drain the swamp.
Or the next president could be Donald Trump, the unlikely populist speaking for voters losing their grip on the American dream. Whoever wins, especially if it's close, a lot of people will go away mad.
I don't see this getting healed very quickly. The battle wounds of 2016 are going to be deep, and it's going to take a while for people to decompress. Then we can put this national nightmare of 2016 behind us.